So we're going to begin in a few. For those who have not done so already, we're going to ask that you please sign on the table.
Testing. Testing. There you go.
Or you can sit out there. It's up to you. There's seats right up front. Y'all can sit right up front. Right in the center.
We have plenty of seats up front.
Yeah.
I don't bite, I promise.
Come on, man.
Good. Morning. How you doing?
All righty. Good morning, District 1. Good morning. I think I need to hear you a little bit louder. We're going to do this again. Good morning, District 1. Good morning. That's much better. First and foremost, good morning. My name is Edwina King. I am one of 2 policy analysts for Councilmember Tate, also the co-manager of our Small Business Initiative, Discover D1. Bam, there it is. I just want to welcome everyone, along with my colleagues Reginald Alexander and Aisha Mitchell, to our first satellite hours of September and for the fall season. So thank you so much for coming out. I'm of course here because my colleague Erin is out. So we just at the count of 3, you're going to say 1, 2, 3, get well, Erin. 1, 2, 3, get well. So I see several familiar faces, from our residents, our community partners, our small businesses. Do we have any new people outside of the one young lady I met earlier today? Oh, okay. 1, 2, 3. So can you just say your name and where you're from?
My name is Greg Sobray, and Greg Sobray, and I, 6 years ago, moved back to North Rosedale Park.
Awesome.
But lifelong Detroiter, lived in Detroit 95% of my life.
Awesome. I live in North Rosedale Park too, so welcome back to the city.
Hi, neighbor.
Hey, neighbor, right. We'll talk about streets offline. And so, yes, to you in the Lion shirt.
new person, Captain Daryl Patterson of the 8th Precinct. I wanted to come here today and say hi to everybody. Unfortunately, I can't stay long due to the fact that one of my old colleagues is retiring today.
Awesome.
So after 32 years of her being on the police department, so I'm heading over there and give my well wishes to her on her retirement. So I just wanted to come by, say hello to everybody. I'm the captain of the 8th Precinct. You'll be seeing a lot of me. I'm going to make a whole bunch of new meetings and be open to any kind of discussion you want to have with me. So, Daryl Patterson, 8th Precinct.
Thank you so much, Captain Patterson. We look forward to seeing you, especially on the right-hand side of the law. Yes. To the young lady in the hat. My name is Gwen Butler. I'm a member of the EO's Senate Community Board. Awesome. Thank you so much, Ms. Butler. Welcome. And if you could pass it over to... Thank you.
We are the Armstrongs, Raymond and Maryland, and we're property owners at one of the homes in the district, Pearson Street.
Awesome. Thank you so much for coming out to the Armstrong family. And I also see a very special new person, and she's hiding, but she's going to come up this way. So for those who are unaware, a lot has happened over the summer recess, and one of which is Latrice McClendon, our former D1 district manager. She's since moved on to a different position in philanthropy. And so this is her new replacement, who she's so lovely. So lovely, and I'm so biased. But she's so lovely. And I love Latrice too. But I also love Carla, and I like her.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning. I've had a chance to meet a couple of people, so that's great. So again, my name is Carla with a K, Williamson. I'm actually a product of District 1. I've been working in District 5, though, for the last 2 years. I spent 20 years in the recreation department, so it's just good to now be able to engage in the neighborhoods more intentionally. So I look forward to working with everyone. I'll be here to the end of the meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, Carla. And so for those who are unfamiliar with our satellite hours format, it's super simple and it's super informal. So we treat it kind of like a fireside chat with Councilmember Tate. So we only ask, so first and foremost, no topic is off limits. We know we have had a busy summer in District 1 as well as throughout the city. So again, no topic is off limits, but we do ask for a couple of things. One, we ask that everyone is courteous to each other as well as to the staff. Second, we ask with courtesy, if it's okay, something that's going to require a little bit more detail than what is typically allotted for, we'll just take down your information and we'll be more than happy to stay after the meeting to speak with you more in depth about your particular concern. The second, we ask that everyone is open. So again, feel free to talk about any and everything that you want, and if you don't have a comment, just say, hey, I'm happy to be seen and not viewed, and we can keep it moving. The next thing is that we ask that, so for those that are unfamiliar with Motor City Java and Motor City Java House, this is one of our small businesses in the district, and we also offer everyone a drink on the house, so to speak. And so if you have not done so already, feel free to go back to the young lady behind the podium and feel free to grab a drink on the house. And so with that being said, again, everyone will get the chance to speak. And so also we had a couple of things that we've missed over the summer. So I'm a Libra, so of course October is my favorite month. But the season before Libra season is Virgo season. So do we have any, there we go. Do we have anyone who have celebrated a birthday since, okay, so Miss Weathersby? Oh, okay, wow, that's really, really recent. Well, happy belated birthday to you.
Yeah, my name is Albert Smith. My birthday is February the 2nd.
Okay, all right. Thank you, Mr. Smith. He was September the 2nd as well.
I have a birthday coming September 17th.
Okay, all right, awesome. So we have another Virgo. Again, I know Ms. Flowers is a Libra, so just come on, like, let's get through September. And so definitely want to wish everyone a happy birthday to those that we've missed and to those that are coming up as well. And so we're going to start with, oh yes, absolutely. So, absolutely. So definitely a couple of quick reminders before we get into the meeting. So again, we have satellite hours here from 11 to 1, first and third Fridays of the month. And for our Saturday meeting, it's going to be on the fourth Saturday, that is the 28th of September. And so actually, I'm very happy to announce the location for this particular meeting. It is at the DST DFI headquarters, which is right up the street on 7 Mile. It's home to the wonderful, the dynamic, yes, the dynamic home of the Detroit Alumni Chapter of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. That is going to be from 10 until 2 p.m.
12:30.
Oh, excuse me, 12:30. Yeah, I'm trying to add. Of September. Anything else? Oh. Alrighty, cool beans. And so with that being said, we're going to start over by Miss Latimer.
Betty Latimer, Hayden Street Block Club, 6 Mile to Grand River.
Okay, you have anything you'd like to discuss or?
No comments today.
Oh, okay, alright.
Anybody else have anything that they want to bring up?
Any comments, questions, concerns?
Good morning. Working in PPS 780 Community Council. I have a question regarding the home growing of marijuana. I know that the Michigan voters approved to allow homeowners or whoever lives in the home to grow at least 12 marijuana plants. I'm not sure who regulates that. Is the state, the city? Thank you.
Hi, Nick Giaquino. I'm the commander of the 8th Precinct. Daryl and I are partners. All of the statutes governing medical marijuana and recreational marijuana are governed by the state through their bar office. You can find a lot of the literature and anything that you need to know about what the requirements are on their site. Oh, there he is.
So at this hour, we're going to welcome none other than a great servant leader, a great boss, and a great
Good morning.
Give him my mic.
You know where we are? How's you doing? You okay? You all right? So thank you all for being here today. Really appreciate it. Welcome back. Missed you guys. Oh, we were gone for a while, and now here we are. Now we're full-fledged, ready to go into the remainder of the year. Weather's changing a bit, so we know it's time to get some things together. Leaves are going to be falling down soon, and we've got to make sure that we're up to date and make sure we get our communities up to date on the leaf process. And we're going to have some folks who are going to be providing information. I don't know if we put it out yet. We probably haven't at this point, but we will be doing it soon. information on leaf collection throughout the remainder of the year. It's always a challenge as you get there, October, November, December, usually just November, December, because climate change is real, and we're starting to see these trees and the leaves falling down a lot later in the year. And we end up having a contract where the contract says it ends, the pickup ends in 1st of December, end of November, but the leaves are still there, still falling. So we're going to make sure we do our best this year to ensure that that doesn't happen. Thank you for being here. Really appreciate it. See some other new faces over here. Thank you for being here. Out in the back as well. For those of you that have never been here, and I don't know if they went over the rules. Did they go over the rules? Yes. All right, the rules are there's no rules. We just have Q&A. Any question, all questions, any issues, concerns, we will address them. We also have today, as probably we mentioned, it's First Friday. So we have our First Friday interview as well. And hopefully you'll get some information about someone in a business title, in a title, in a career that you didn't know before. All right? So we're going to start over on this side of the room. With any questions, concerns, who's our mic? And let's start over here.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I've been here before. I've talked with the group before. My name is Mr. Tellis. I am the block captain over in Huntington, North Woodsville Park. I have a concern concerning my sprinkler. I've called in about it. I called in about it and talked to Miss McClendon June the 6th. Also talked to Latrice June the 28th. And I haven't had any response. I've talked to Alexander. Alexander has responded to me many times. He's done a great job. And I like that. Every time I call Alexander, he answers the phone. I have my receipt that I paid someone else to do this. And my receipt is July the 18th. My calls were in June. And I want that documented. I have pictures of everything. One of my concerns, one of my big concerns, and everybody else in there, I'm sure, is this. You're doing a good job, even by being here, for us to be able to talk to you. That's great. That you can bring your concerns to someone from someone from the city. That's a great thing. I talked with you concerning my light. Your group for doing the job that you're doing. Now, the biggest concern I have, I don't know if you can do anything about this, but when you call and try to talk to someone, they say they'll get back with you. Now, I don't know if you have experienced calling and people say they'll get back with you, and they don't get back with you, and you keep calling, trying to get them. And I think that's fair. I think calling back with you ran for office, or if I ran for office, and I would say my platform would be that if you elect me, I will get back with you, and that's a promise. And that's the biggest thing that's going on here, people not getting back with you. So if you can help did call before I
may be here today. We're going to have too much of the information because you didn't divulge it. Because the work has already been that doesn't mean that it will not be addressed to your satisfaction, but the receipt only shows that you had work done on your property. Last week, I believe it is. And so because of that, we can't say, yes, we went out and we saw it. So from the city standpoint, the city is your word and your receipt versus whoever that was you talked to. I'm not sure who you talked to from the department. If you have their name, then that begins an investigation and all that good stuff. So that's why we would need that from you, and that helps tremendously.
Can you talk to McClendon and Patrice?
Well, she's no longer the district manager for District 1. So we actually have the new district manager, and I don't know if she had a chance to come up and say a few words, but she is the new district manager that takes Latrice's place. So she's no longer here. But this young lady does a tremendous job. She previously worked over in District 5, heard nothing but good things about her. We welcome her with open arms in District 1. But as you know, they work for the mayor. They don't work in my office. So we work together.
I'm gonna make this statement. But like I said,
What I'm saying is, I have dates.
That helps.
June. So nothing was done until July.
Yes, sir.
I have the dates here. Okay. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much. You're doing a great job.
Thank you,
Being
Paul.
come in here and talk about your problems. That's great. How long has this been going on?
5 years.
Yeah, I missed out. Wow.
That's okay.
I never had problems.
Yes, sir. Well, thank you again, Coach. Appreciate it. Don't worry.
Hi, I'm Diane Hanks. I live over in Riverdale. I promised Jacqueline Moore last night that I would make this announcement regarding SDM 2. If you haven't heard about it, it's a fantastic program for middle school and high school. She hoped to have a flyer today, but I am delivering the flyer information. They have a homework literacy program. They also have, I know, sewing classes they have for girls after school and stuff. And it's middle and high school, and they're having information sessions for parents on September 10th from 5 to 7. Is anyone here interested? Do you have kids that want this information, or I don't want to take up time?
No, just put the information out because it's not just about folks here.
Okay. From 11 to 1. And the start date for the programs is 9/24. And they have it on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday evenings after school. And the SDM house is at, SDM 2 house is at 19470 Lenore. And the phone number is 313-918-9050.
Okay, so and I'm glad you mentioned that. A lot of times people are asking us from the city, we need more things for our kids. We need more things for the kids. We're limited with our resources that we have. We have partners who are out in the community who are doing tremendous work over on the North Street. What's the address again?
It's 19470 Lenore, and it's fabulous.
It's phenomenal.
It's fabulous.
So they actually, to give you some context, this is a group that actually purchased a home from the land bank and turned it basically into a recreational center because they have a huge lot that they also purchased from the land bank. So they're not, this is what it's about. We've got to take pride and take care of our own community. If there's something that's missing, we as the city have an obligation to try to figure out how to help, but we as a community also have to figure out what our place is as well. And they've done a tremendous job. Most of I would say the lion's 99% of the funds that was placed into that home that they purchased, as well as all the other things they've done with their own personal place where they live at their residence to also help with young people is tremendous. And this came out of their own pocket. These are people who still work, still have life challenges. They live in Detroit. They live in an area that's not posh, but they're doing what they can to try to help the community.
But because of what they've done, I would love to live over in your neighborhood.
Yeah.
It's very
It's
easy.
made
We
it-
have the same kind of taste as far as the environment, and it's beautiful.
It's made it
They have campfires in the back. They live right across the street from the
pouring of support, not just from us, but from, we connected them with the Ford Foundation. They received some funds that way, but it started right in the meeting with the community. Once again, we help support ourselves first. We have to, because if we don't do that, we give all of our opportunity to someone else, and then we complain about what happened.
They'd also like volunteers, so that's a good place if you can give a few hours a week. You should call me. Okay, I just stopped by the MSU site if anybody's interested. It was supposed to happen like 2 years ago, I think. And it was supposed, I got a call on Thursday or Friday that they were going to break ground on Tuesday after the holiday. Well, I went and checked with Naeem. I saw his van there. Nothing has happened. But apparently all the permits are through. Now it's the construction company. So I don't even ask until I got this latest news because I'm just so disappointed it hasn't happened. But I'm keeping my fingers crossed. And I want to know, is Richard Burke still?
With advance, yes.
Is he? Oh, okay.
Yes, ma'am. I saw him Monday when he came out to the school walking.
Oh, good. Okay.
Yeah.
And I wanted to talk to Carol about this. I have to apologize for anyone that was at Blight Court because I kind of went off a little bit at Blight Court, and I'm so emotional about what's going on in the city. And I confronted dumpers, and when I heard about that young man on the news that was killed, confronted dumpers on his property, I thought, whoa, this has got to stop. And I'm going to stop because this is pretty scary. And I went in there very emotionally charged and told them how I didn't even want to be there. I don't even want to turn in complaints. I'm tired of it. But they handed out a form, the Blight Report form, is a new way of, I don't know, maybe I was going to ask her about it, and it's another way of reporting, I guess, rather than the app, correct? Do we need to make copies of it ourselves? Well, you know what? They need to hand out pads of them.
So is it available online as well?
It may be. I don't think so.
Oh, what's it? Somebody on the team wants to like it.
So what we can do is, of course, we'll make sure that this is available. So for those that are unaware, the Monday, not this past Monday, of course, which was Labor Day, but the Monday before that, about a little over 2 weeks ago, they had Blight Court over in District 1. And so, of course, we're all very passionate about blight. So, of course, we're all very passionate about blight in our communities. And so, with a couple of resources were made available to residents and business owners and community partners related to if you want to report blight. So one of which was this blight form. And if anyone is interested in it, I'll check and see if they're available on the city's website. If not, we can definitely make sure that we get copies of this sent electronically. Thank you, Reggie, to everyone who has signed in, as well as to make sure that any resource that you receive at our meetings can be shared with members of your respective communities. So, yeah, so that's what I was saying.
Yes, ma'am. I mean, so we're going to make sure that it's available. So we can assist with some, but I'm not going to say that we're going to provide them to every community association person to ask for. It's not our department. So we're saying we can assist.
I'm not challenging.
Yes, ma'am.
I am not a code enforcement officer either. And I'm doing this, I am doing code enforcement for free.
Yes, ma'am.
When we used to have paid officers. In some of our areas, you don't need them. I'm sorry. The app is not enough. This is not enough. And where I live has gotten worse, and it's the people that live there. Even though they're tearing down lots of houses, it just gives them a new lot to dump on.
Yes, ma'am.
Sorry.
This is why we're here. Then I will take that back. And we actually may have someone from, we have the Department of, what is it called now? Department of Administrative Parents. No, they changed the name now. It's Department of how to actually.
I also attend. I'm sorry. I did talk to Marion Blank Smart, and she informed me that if we needed extra copies of any of the information that was in the folder, that we could contact her, and she would make sure that we would get that information to our block clubs and people who needed additional copies.
All right, well, thank you.
Good morning. Good morning, Michael Booker. Land is still Silver's Thunder, but we are having a harvest festival in October, and she'll give you a little bit more detail. But William, Detroit, that's on Peyton and Midland.
Well, I don't think you.
And for those, just a quick housekeeping note, for those who are speaking into the microphone, if you can, please hold it close to you so that way we can avoid the feedback sound that goes in here.
I just only wanted to say that my name is Marjorie Sims, and I am with the Hayden Street Block Club as Mrs. Latimer and Mr. Smith. They are also members of our block club, and they help us tremendously. And we are very active, and we are trying to expand our block club throughout the Evergreen McNichols area. So that is our goal for next year, to get more members.
Thank you.
Shouldn't have anything. That's okay. We shouldn't have anything. If y'all, if they don't want to speak, it's okay. It's all right. We keep her at the office, so. Albert, good to see you again.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, Refuge Library. Also, if you gotta make a complaint and copy, you can go to Refuge Library. It's on the copy 10 cents. Refuge Library.
I said no 10 cents. Thank you, sir. Albert's always coming with resources.
Hi, guys. I'm Sophie.
Number 2, right?
Yeah, number 2. So as Lionel was saying, we are planning the Harvest Festival with Neighbors Building Brightmoor. He and I are on the planning committee. It's October 12th. We're going to do an earlier activity this year. It'll be from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. It's the same date as Sidewalk Detroit's Orange, Gold, and Green Festival. So if you come out to the Harvest Festival, which is at Curtis Green Park on Beaverland and Chaffon, you can have activities from 11 to 2. We'll have donuts, coffee, bounce house. Eliza Howell Park for Orange, Gold, and Green Festival, and there will be activities there until 7 p.m. I have more information about the Orange, Gold, and Green Festival in these event schedules. We're also doing yoga right now every Tuesday, so that's in here as well. I'll pass them around. And if you do want to be on the planning committee for that, again, as Lionel said, Wednesday, September 25th is our next meeting at 6 o'clock at Brilliant Detroit. That's Hayden and Midland. And I have just one other thing to announce. We are tomorrow night having another event in Eliza Hall Park called Brown on Green. It's a celebration of nature in Eliza Hall Park. It's dancing, live music. It's going to be really beautiful. So come on out. It's being paid for by Cranbrook and curated by Cranbrook. So please come and join us. I'll pass those around as well if you want more information.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello. Again, my name is Greg. I have a sort of a major problem in my neighborhood with a neighbor. It's very serious, ongoing. I'm not going to get into that. But with the same neighbor, I've had this issue, and I haven't really gotten any resolution through looking it up on researching it online. And it's about having a business in your home. And this particular neighbor has an upholstery business that he runs out of his garage. He receives delivery of everything to be upholstered, and you hear staple gun sound all day. Now, there's no sign in front of this house saying, so-and-so's upholstery business. However, I'm unaware of the ordinances. If you need some sort of licensing for that.
So you're saying that the sound,
well, it's the trucks, the deliveries of it. It's just, and it's done out of his garage, so it's visible. Now I know. I mean, I was a florist.
So let me just ask you first: is it what you believe is a nuisance?
No, it's a nuisance.
Okay, so that's the litmus test right there. That at least causes for some investigation. And the litmus or the nuisance is the sound. You say
it's a staple gunning.
Staple gun all the time.
And I live across the street, so I can only imagine what the neighbors to the left and right.
But also the traffic as well.
Traffic. Well, I live on a street that people use as a cutoff for outer drive. When during two times a day you can't make a left, so they use my street to make that little dipsy doodle to go back onto outer drive without having to wait at the light. So even though I'm on a street with very few houses in the neighborhood, probably the least amount, except for Scarsdale, the traffic's crazy. But I mean, that's not here or there. I'm not.
So what we need to do is get the information about that. Okay. So first of all, Irina, do you know those rules regarding licensing for small or home occupation?
So I'm going to do a little bit more research on it. I'm trying to go through my mental Rolodex of businesses that require licensing. And I believe that upholstery businesses do require a license. So what I'll do is I'll get your information later offline, and then I'll definitely be in touch with you regarding next steps. Because there's a couple of things when you stated the issue that kind of caused a concern.
The issue, that's the least of the issues I have with this neighbor, but I don't want to go into it.
So we'll.
The other part is it's an ongoing issue with the police at the moment.
Okay. We'll talk.
Thank you.
But make sure you touch base before you leave, please.
Give me the information that I've been trying to get. I'm just wondering what is going on with the open school. I'll call you back with that information, and I approached you and you said, "This is me." I
dropped the ball personally, so but I did get the information. So the information is that it's still part of our inventory, and it is up for potential sale. It's open for sale. They're doing right now, currently, surveys of all of its closed schools that we have in Detroit, whether it's owned by DPSCD or Detroit, because there was a swap. I think we talked about it at one point. The city of Detroit swapped a financial obligation that the school system had with the city for these closed schools. So their debt for the city of Detroit, there's a survey going. There's a company, the contract, the council is what needs to be done for each one of those structures to get it up and running, up and going, and potentially out and operating again in the system. Schools Community District. So it was just Detroit Public Schools, but once they went through the bankruptcy procedures, it changed. So DPS still exists, but it's in the background dealing with the financial stuff, but the actual yes, and again, I do apologize because I did make that statement and I live by my word and I fell down. Yes.
I just have one little question. Are we allowed to park in the Record Theater parking lot without being towed?
Yes, ma'am. Well, certainly for this event now, I will say that there may be events that Redford Theater is having. So if it's a day that they're having an event, then it's different. But anytime they're here, they're closed. They have no problem. They have no problem.
Good morning, or good afternoon, everyone. I'm James Liddell. I'm representing the Grand Mont Patrol number 4. And I'm just here to get any information I can about the district.
I appreciate you being here. Very familiar face.
Good morning. Good afternoon. I'm here because I have a big blight issue that I'd like to discuss with the council. And it seems as if I can't get it resolved, even though I know it has been resolved. And it's approximately 15 years old now. So if any assistance that I can get, we are homeowners who rent this property. So I'd like to go into details, not right here, but if I could. Later, please.
Absolutely, and we always tell people that that's something that I did not say. If you don't feel comfortable with disseminating the information in front of everyone else, that's fine, that's your right. We'll still assist you. Please, before you leave, get with Edwin and we'll get your information.
I will. I'll take it.
Thank you.
Hey, Councilman.
Hey, Reverend Ross, how are you?
Fine, how you been?
Good.
I'm sorry. So, I believe you talked with Tanisha already concerning the Brightmoor. I'm sorry, everyone. My name is Reverend Ross Labouye. I'm the Executive Director of the Brightmoor Connection Food Pantry. And I believe you spoke with Tanisha. That's what I'm here to speak with you about. She's been amazingly helpful with a number of things, as well as Carla. But I needed to speak with you personally. I also spoke with the captain in the rear of the 8th precinct a little while ago. He gave me some information, contact information. But I wanted to talk with you personally about the situation going on. As you know, being a food pantry, we can't have someone growing weed right next door to us, most especially in a legal established building. And we have people who come into the pantry who are
ultimately, since it's out in the public, just so people know, and give them a little information about your food pantry.
Sure, I'm sorry. So the Brightmoor Connection Food Pantry is located on Finkel and Lasher. We've been funded by the Fisher Foundation for the past 10 years. We've been in this building for the last 4 years. We see clients who live in community, who are experiencing socioeconomic issues, water shutoffs, As long as you live in Brightmoor, you're able to come to the pantry and shop. You'll leave with between 50 to 70 pounds of food. People come in by appointment every month, so you don't have to be concerned about standing outside, the indignity of having your name called in a large group of people, all of that. Along with that, we have formula for clients with small children. We have a clothing closet, and we do wraparound social justice resource work. The reason I'm here is because the owner of the building passed away 4 years ago. In the interim, his daughter has stepped in to manage the building for the wife, but the properties have been in probate, and I know that for a fact. I don't believe the properties come out of probate, and Tanisha, the DBL for this area, checked, and she did tell me, she did affirm the fact the property is still listed as Dallas Davis, the owner, who's deceased. The daughter has since sold the building to a gentleman who used to have
It was illegally placed there.
It was illegally placed there. Thank you, sir. And so now, back in January, she told me she was thinking of selling it to them. And I told her then, I shared with her then, we can't be in a building next to someone growing weed because of the food constraint. We get 30,000 to 40,000 pounds of food delivered every month. I have a delivery coming on Monday. And when I went in there on Friday, there's a fall from the smell of weed next door. Not to mention clients who come in who are experiencing hardships of being on probation, small infants, because we're a client trace pantry which caters to families with children 0 through 5. So, yeah.
They're already in violation. Just hearing
they're in violation.
So,
yeah.
so without even identifying if they're legally there, because they may have a permit and all that stuff, we'll find out if that's the case.
Well, they told me originally when they purchased when they moved into the building, because implementation, and ended up finding out that they said they were going to be selling auto parts out of the building, clearly. And then what ended up happening, a refrigeration, one of my refrigeration guys had to come out, and that's when I found out that they were tapping into our wires in the back as well. Yeah, so there's a lot of dynamics going on, but the main issue that I'm sitting here for, as you well know, is because of the families I represent in the community.
Absolutely. And everything is in violation.
It's in I don't see it ever would have been zoned next to a food pantry, social service building.
Well,
and a day sharing the wall.
But food pantry was not. So we'll figure out.
Okay, we'll figure it out. Yeah,
we'll definitely do that.
But I just need some help as soon as possible.
Absolutely.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
My name is Carol Jenkins, and I represent the 4th Street Block Club at Eaton and Chalfont. And I have a complaint regarding and this is a constant issue with this property. We maintain the property, and I'm not sure if their agreement is to maintain and to see if it can be maintained.
Okay. Well, before you leave, if you can give that information to everyone as well, and we will put that on our list and give you a follow-up.
My name is Annette Flowers. Hi, it's Benmore Summit Black Club. That's between Puritan and Florence. I don't have anything to say, obviously.
Shout out to Ms. Flowers. Thank you. So.
I didn't have any complaint or anything, but I just wanted to represent myself as a precinct delegate here in the area. Just excited for voting time and glad to be a part.
So you got any words you want to say to the voters? This is a very special election. Come on up.
Yeah.
Precinct delegate. Round of applause. Come out here. Get involved. cameraman. This is another elected official in the
I'm a part of the Grandma Rosa Park area. I live here in the area. And so I ran for precinct delegate. It's about to be 2 years now. And so I've just been experiencing, you know, how to properly handle things, how things are supposed to be ran in the city, getting people registered to vote, especially young people, telling them how important it is to be, you know, active, and also engaging the older people and learning from them their experience. And so it's been a great thing, especially working with Councilman James Tate, and just getting different experiences through the mayor's office. And so, you know, this is a real thing. You know, people feel like their vote doesn't matter, and everybody's vote really does count. And so I'm just excited for this year. I'm really working with our city clerk and working in my precinct to make sure that this will be a successful turnout. So I'm excited to see everyone's faces. Anything I can do to assist. I can register people to vote. Anyone who knows anyone who's younger, who's kind of skeptical about it, I would love to talk to them. So thank you.
So, get ready. Let's have a round of applause. Very important election that's coming up. A lot of people are saying so, but a lot of people still may be plugged or not plugged in. They have emotion. And they don't vote because they're just angry and they just don't participate. What are you hearing from those kind of individuals, people who are potentially disaffected? What's our strategy to potentially change that mentality of whatever it is that's preventing them from voting?
Well, I feel like my advice would be to really get involved and consider it. You know, we see this election, some people disagree because of the person and some of their personal views. And so when you feel like that, during this election, really pay attention to the candidates and what they're saying and their motives and their strategies, because we see present day right now of the candidate we did vote in, the things that he said he was going to do, he's really doing. And so take somebody, you know, for face value and really just do research. And if you really feel strong about it, the power of number and voting and people coming together makes more of a difference than just being by yourself and being upset. Find other people that feel the same way you do, like how we come together right now and we feel the same way about our community, we want to better it. Find other people that feel the same way you do and come together and come up with a strategy. Or just, you know, make sure the people that you're around, tell them the affects everybody in every type of way. Right. Okay. So just engaging in your community, even in your family event, or teaching, you know, looking at some things that's happening. That's a push to really want to, you know, get your voice across.
We want to thank you as always for joining. Providing information and always accessible. So thank you for that, and give another round of applause. India Jones, delegate number. Thank you for long. As we indicate, Ms. Carol? Ms. Carol had a question. Whole transition. I was transitioning. It was smooth too, right? Hello, ma'am.
What can you tell me about the work that's going on Lasser between 7 and 8 Mile? They've been working there for a while. I see they're working there now. Is that the city, the water, or
the road Odell.
I don't think so.
But I'm not sure. We'll have to find out. But, sorry?
It's north of 7 Mile.
Yeah, so that's north. So we're not sure.
It's been going on for.
Well, hold on. So I know they were doing it over on.
Find out and get back to you exactly what the timeline is. Barricades and cones.
The corner onto Lasser there. Well, like I said, they're doing work now, but I just wonder, well, my leader of my
a timeline on when that's going to be addressed.
I just wanted to, I forgot to mention this. I thought about not mentioning it, but then I thought about that it should be mentioned. We had an issue with 2 incidents with public nuisance behavior from 2 young men. This was on Thursday and Friday, 2 days prior to our block club party. I contacted the police department on the first issue. And then the second issue occurred on Friday where we had a person that was exposing themselves in the middle of the street. So I contacted them immediately for that. And the police department came out and handled the situation efficiently, effectively, and quickly. And our block club party was a huge success. So I do want to thank the police department for responding so quickly with handling the situation because it was completely out of control. And they put everything in its proper place. So I want to thank you from our For Your Street Block Club for your immediate response.
And you see the commander right there in the back, and it's good to hear that.
Well, people say bad things, but I like to say good things. So I have always found you to be efficient in any situation that I have had that has occurred on 4th Street, and I just want to thank you.
All right. Good for the team to hear that. Anybody else? Oh, all right. Well, that's good. We're going to transition.
Good afternoon, everyone. I have a question. I just talked to the commander of the precinct, and I agree with you. When we call, I am a part of For Your Community Block Club, and when we call, they do respond, and they respond in a timely manner. A lot of people say that doesn't happen, but they don't come if you don't call. We all have to start making that phone call. I was just speaking with the commander, and we were talking about the cars speeding through our areas. Murray Hill, Warrior, straight through 6 Mile. There's a building Rutherford. And I was asking about the speed bumps. He said the police have no control over the speed bumps. But I see in several areas they have put speed bumps out. And I'm just wondering if there's some way, talking to you, if the city can provide temporary speed bumps. A kid was almost hit yesterday by a white rally, and they turn the corner at that park and they don't stop until they cross 6 Mile.
So I don't believe, and I wouldn't be in support of temporary speed bumps. We're going to do it, let's do it. And those structures are actually permanent that go down there. The temporary was the pilot. The first year we did it to determine if in fact we were actually going to do this moving forward. Made sure that the city's equipment, so the winter equipment could plow through with no issues. So that's when you started to see the city adopting this as a policy. We have, and I believe, Reggie, what's that number in District 1? 50?
50 of
50 installed in District 1 as a whole. That's just District 1, but in total, there's 200 and...
total there is
All right, so this is information that we just pulled together. Maybe, Carla, you got it. I'm not sure. But we're pulling this information together to identify where we can place, as a city, collectively, these new speed humps. So we have 50, but we can't do the entire city at one point in time. And I know that sounds like a horrible excuse, but that's why I want you to hear how many we're doing in the city. If you see, there's not just one. There's typically a the city, and are then going to double back to District 1 at that point. And continue. So, we did say block at the same time. We have a budget, and we're District 1, and I love them partially.
Okay, but in this area, you see that there's a serious problem. The commander, the sergeant, they have sent scout cars out to sit on the corners. One Friday, scout car was sitting on Grove and Poyer. The cars instead decided to go on the other side of the park. He could hear them revving up. So he sped around to try to catch them. So this is a serious issue, and we blame the police department for letting this go on when it's actually the city council.
Huh?
You said that you all had put out speed bumps.
Yeah, 50 in the entire district, but 200 and how many in the entire city? But we approved them. We approved the budget.
But this is a serious problem. A child was almost
I don't disagree, but again, there's resources. What I can commit to as a city council member is working with the department to do a survey. DPW go out and do a survey of the area. I understand the police department went out and they had some challenges and they saw that. That's information that can be provided to DPW to make that determination if it's if we're talking about speed humps or some other traffic calming situation. Don't know. But that's my commitment. But in terms of me directing them, I can't by charter. We've had that conversation before. We can do it through influence and through conversation. But Reggie has the numbers 424 that have been implemented in the entire city in the 7 districts. So that is my commitment. We're going to work with the department. We're going to work with Carl as well, see if we can get a survey done out at your area, and we'll go for it from there. But that's what I can promise.
It's not just Poyer, it's Murray Hill. I mean, when you go down 6 Mile and you see this building.
It was those areas. All of them apply to what I just said.
But most neighbors say, oh, the police don't come out. Are people aware that when there's a homicide, they need 5 scout cars at each one of those incidents? So no, they can't be there when these cars are speeding. Something has to be done.
Yes, ma'am. All right, so what we're going to do, because we have a guest here, and I have to make sure we honor our guest time as well. But we're going to get that information from everyone, but we want to bring our guests up before us. This is Miss Lynette Wood. If you can give her a round of applause, please. This is our first round. So, looking at my little cheat sheet here. And this order is yours. So, EMT and counselor coordinator for personnel guidance. What does that person do who holds that title? Hold up. You gotta turn the mic on. Where's the other handheld? Let's get that hand. We'll fix that. So Alright, sorry about that.
Alrighty. As an emergency medical technician, my responsibility, or anyone that holds that licensure, would, for me, because I work for the fire department, we go out, we assist people when they call 911. Whether it be someone who's visiting or living within the city, we assist them with what would be their reason for calling. So it may be just cut on the hand, or it could be CPR that we assist people with. Just trying to provide something better for those that call. And so as the licensed mental health counselor for the department, I've been doing that for the last 5 years, and I assist the members of the department, EMS, fire, with things that they consider to be an emergency. So if we respond and they see something on the scene that they've responded to or heard about, they may give me a call, and I go out and I speak with them individually or sometimes in a group as a debriefing to help them to move through whatever it is that they've seen or heard. Sometimes we respond to family members, friends, as technicians and firemen, fire personnel, because there are also women on the department, fire personnel. And I go out and speak with them, give them referrals, try to help them to cope so that we can continue to do what it is that we've decided to do within the department. So.
And it sounds like that's something that's really special to your heart, because even before you joined the fire department, you were in the mental health area prior to that, correct?
Correct. Before I started doing EMS, and I've been doing that 20 years with the Detroit Fire Department, I worked also in the private sector, and I was with them for 6 years. But before that, I was working with people in group homes with mentally and physically disabled people. So, yeah.
So now here you are with Detroit Fire Department.
Yes.
But your career takes a course, right?
Yes.
But when you're a little girl, so let's say 8 years old, 9 years old, 10 years old.
Yes.
What did you want to do?
I wanted to be a teacher.
Wanted to be a teacher?
I wanted to be a teacher.
Okay. So talk to us about the journey from wanting to be a teacher to where you are right now.
Alrighty. So my journey from wanting to be a teacher, unfortunately, I saw an incident in the 8th grade, I remember, and I just went home and told my mom, I don't want to be a teacher anymore.
I think a lot of people having that realization, unfortunately.
And she never knew why. And it wasn't until maybe I was 25, I'm 50 now. But she asked me, she said, you never said why you didn't want to be a teacher. And I went to school at Ludington Magnet Middle School. And some people turned out the light. Because the students chose to, I guess, fill up on the teacher. And so for me, I just went home and I was just like, nope, that's not. Listening to your parents, you know, my mom was like, no, you take things too personal. You'll bring it home. You won't let it go. But in the interim, becoming an emergency medical technician, I ended up doing what I wanted to do anyway, which was social work, but I'm a mental health counselor, but I just took the long route about it.
So how do you not take that stuff home? Because I can only imagine and we all can only imagine the things that you've seen and heard or been around. How do you not take that stuff home and have it weigh on you? But then also, how do you make sure you don't become callous to it?
You know, and it's difficult. Everyone has their struggle. A lot of things are brought before we even do what we do, regardless if you're an emergency medical technician, fire personnel, social worker, dentist. We all bring in our own personal things from childhood experiences within the neighborhood. And it's difficult. Some people, unfortunately, choose to drink. Get you through. And it's difficult sometimes. I know that my job is done at the best that I can. So as long as I'm doing what I know is right, I know my protocols. I try to assist people. And my thought is, and it has always been, it doesn't matter where I pick you up from, who you are, I treat everyone the same, and I try to do that. And with that, everyone has a story. Like I said, it doesn't matter where you're coming from. And even if it's 10 minutes with that person, sometimes that's all they need to do is someone to listen to them. And I think with being respectful with that, you know, I go home and I'm able to sleep.
So even with that type of training that you've had and the heart that you have, some days I'm sure it gets a bit overwhelming.
It does.
Can you tell us about any story or any, I don't want to call it a story because it's not, these are people's lives. It makes you kind of reflect on the job that you do.
Well, and I tell this story, I speak to some of the new joining members of the department when they come in. My partner and I, we responded to a run where a man was deceased. I was the one reporting the information, saying that there was nothing else that we could do to assist. The man's son was angry, and he may have been angry because he was afraid. And a lot of times, you know, citizens don't know what it is that we have to do, but there are things that we follow in order to because the man's son appeared upset. So I asked my partner, why don't you go downstairs and get me something? And we were on the 3rd floor. He didn't want to leave me because usually we stay together. But I said, better me than you, because the person was obviously angry at him. But I said, if I heard something. So my partner was walking. I was going to stop him. I said, no, I'm going to let him go. And he continued. The son and someone else, they got to talking. And now I'm walking really fast behind my partner, but not wanting him to stop. So he makes it down the stairs. I'm trying to watch the son and whomever else he was speaking to. So I tried to get them on the elevator with me. Decided to run down the stairs. So I went behind them. And when I got to the ambulance, because we weren't on the ambulance, we used to have a Romeo unit. And so we were on that, and we would try to assist before the actual transporting unit got there. So my partner was already in the truck trying to get a hold to our dispatchers in the police department. So I jumped in, told my partner, okay, let's go. But the son and the other gentleman walked out. They got into the car and turned away, and like a horror movie, they came back. So now we're facing face to face. And so the son got out of the car, act like he was going to go into the building, but he started yelling at us for us to stop, because I told my partner, even if we get in a car accident, at least somebody will know what happened. So my partner started to emerge. We were still waiting on Scout. Scout finally got there, but as we were approaching, they turned the corner. So there's a sigh of relief. But with that, we're scared or afraid, just like the citizens are when they call us. You know, we don't know what we're walking into. We don't know what's going on. We try to do the best that we can with what we have. Being respectful, again, is a major part of what we do. So that one, yeah, that's a scary one, but I will tell you a funny one. There's a gentleman that we call quite often, so we knew him and we would take care of him like we needed to. I don't know how to sing, and I would sing to that man in the back of the truck, and it was the worst singing ever, but that man loved it. And so anytime he calls, he'll ask their crew, where's that lady that sings? So if I'm walking into the hospital, I will just sing to him just because I know he likes it. And it makes him laugh, and it makes me laugh as well. So there's some good things with what we do. It's just meeting the different people. Like I said, everyone has a story. Hopefully, if anyone has had to call 911, that the technicians were respectful and helpful. So,
and you kind of hit on everything I really wanted to talk about, because a lot of times people don't know the challenges that you all face. What they do know is I have an emergency, and they're not here. Whether it's 1 minute, 2 minutes, 10 minutes, 8 minutes. That's why we have this series of interviews, because we want people to know what these service individuals go through on a regular basis. These are people too. They have families too. They have responsibilities. People are looking up to them, wanting them to be the best them they can be, who need them to be the best them. And so we have to give some level of grace, especially to the individuals who are out there. If the system is messed up, that's our fault, the structure. But the folks who are out there doing their best with the limited resources, and I don't think you're a millionaire yet, are you? Not yet. Not yet. It's coming. But folks are going through what they go through on a regular basis, and the dangers, the truth. She talked about they turn around like in a movie. They face this on a regular basis. We need to give all of them a round of applause for all the work that they do. And a round of applause goes only so far, because there's some other things that you need people to do, right? So when you see these EMS vehicles, when you interact with someone, one of your techs, what should people know? Because this is also information.
Information, EMS, fire, police. If you see us coming, and we understand sometimes you don't know what side of the road to go to, if you can move over and stay in that until we pass, because sometimes we need to pull into you. And it's not that we're going to get ice cream when we have our lights and sirens on. We are actually responding to a run. And we're just trying to assist. So when we're there, like Councilman Tate said, we understand that you don't know the process of what we do. And some of you watch a lot of television. We're not getting our equipment. My partner is most likely going to help me out. But we do try to get to the patients. We do try to do the best that we can. And yeah, a lot of times, it's just confusing. I've had to call 911. So I get it. We as a department try to put out the best people for the job. And sometimes, like everyone else, people are maybe angry for whatever's going on, and that's just reality. But hopefully they know that they can be angry in the truck or the fire truck or whatever, but when they get to the person, hopefully they know they need to switch that off, do what they need to do, and then, assist that way.
So you alluded to, and this will be my last question, I'm going to open up to the audience. You alluded to earlier, of course, it's not firemen, it's fire personnel.
Fire personnel.
And so you live in Detroit, it's in District 2. You got space in District 1 you want to we love the fact we're in Detroit. But you mentioned fire personnel because we're very sensitive about the way we use language.
Yes.
But even more than that, diversity is important.
Yes.
And I know that just looking at the demographics, you may be an anomaly in what you do or over in your department?
Yes.
So let me ask you, how have you dealt with that? I mean, is it something that drives you in terms of being an inspiration or to continue what you do? Or a little bit challenging?
Being in a more male profession, as an emergency medical technician, I want to say on the EMS division, I want to say it's 34 females, and we have a group of 264. Into the academies, so my numbers may be off, but yeah, I've had some challenges. As a mental health counselor, I'm maybe one of, in the whole department, I'm the only one, but I do have assistance through the chaplains, and as well as we are building a peer support team. So altogether it's 19 other peer support members who will also be there to assist the fire department with things that are needed. Some challenges, I think it's just the stigma of men speaking to a female about their issues and concerns. But again, I'm utilized quite often, and I'm glad with that. And they see me often, they know I'm there, they know that I'm genuine with what I do, whether it's EMF and the counseling part of it. So we're breaking that stigma. But another thing that people can do is learn CPR. So we're there to assist with whatever's going on, but if you get out there, learn CPR, you're helping. And the change now is you don't necessarily have to do the respiratory part of it. Just the compressions is good enough to start to help us out as well. So,
thank you. And I see you have some other members of your team who
yes.
want to introduce them. You guys
actually stand up, introduce yourselves.
My name is Michael Furby. I've been in with Detroit for about 8 years. With some people, I used to work at a college, and I did tutoring and proctoring for medic and people getting into this field and trying to get them to see stuff at a different way, because there's a lot of stuff that we are exposed to in this city that you're not going to be exposed to elsewhere. This is like the Mecca. It's going to set precedents. We're trying to bring ourselves up to that par.
Hello, I'm Eric Barron. I've been on Detroit EMS for 17 years, and I worked the road for 15, and now I'm up at the Regional Training Center. I've been there for 2 years now, along with Mike, and so we have the challenge now of basically all the new recruits that are coming in of help training them to get them prepared for the streets. So it's I had a lot of great times and experience on the road, but this is like a whole different avenue now. Folks now, because it is kind of a younger folks thing nowadays. So as I've gotten older, it's a different challenge just teaching the new guys and gals. We appreciate Lynette as well. She's just the best. So
we appreciate the work that you all do. How many years again on the job?
17.
17, 8, 20. So these are folks who put in a lot of time in our community. So we want to thank you guys. Thank you again for appreciate you. So we're going to open up to questions if you don't mind.
No problem.
Are we good with this mic now? Well, now, so we don't have another handheld? Oh, we got two. That one is a handheld. I just want to make sure it's more than a handheld. We can turn it up. Good number. Anybody have any questions?
My question was, since you counsel people, who counsels you?
I have a lot of friends that are also counselors, so I discuss things that bother me, and I also use some of the tools that I present with other people to do. I exercise, I make sure I try to eat right, drink lots of water, spend time with family, that's most important. I have a 21-year-old who's off at Central Michigan University, so anytime I can see her, spend time with her, I'm for it. And then I'm also married 25 years, so spending time with family and friends. So.
Just one more question for you. Do you see a lack of mental, people like yourself, mental health for people? Because it seems like, especially in the inner city, in the community, that there's some stigmatism, like especially with things you're
not supposed to do, quote unquote, and be emotional and express yourself. So, you know, a lot of people are angry and they don't even know why they're angry.
Exactly.
So do you think it's a lack of people like yourself to counsel these type of people?
I think it's harder for people to receive the services and that it's been cut. How to contact. So again, by flipping over that insurance card and using it, they can provide information for mental health services. The counties can also provide services. Stigma in our community has always been what happens in the house stays in the house. Be aware of what's available to them. Like I walk through the firehouses, go to the hospitals to see the people that work within the fire department. They know it's there. Whether they choose to use it is on them, but just letting the service be known to them. More people reach out that way. And stigma again. And so I just want to let you guys know that if you notice someone having changes in attitude, behaviors, not participating in the things that they normally participate in, feel free to ask them, are you thinking about suicide? You know, people are hungry, feeling depressed, and asking is not going to make them do that. That's something that's always, you know, probably something that they're thinking about. Asking the question is not going to cause them to do it. Having someone to recognize that, hey, something may be going on, will allow them to talk about it, and then maybe you guys can, you know, assist them with that. So.
Any other questions?
There's a family living across from me that they're like frequent flyers with the EMS, and I have to say, there have been 3 police cars there numerous times and the EMS, and in 1 week the fire truck was there and the EMS 3 times.
Yeah.
And they go away. I think there was a stabbing and they're hell bent on it. They're very angry and they hurt each other. That's how this family deals, but they're there. And when I see 3 cars, you know, devoted to that, and then we're calling about something, I mean, that's a lot of resources, and they pour it in. I mean, they still get it every week. There's something going on there. So thank you.
Thank you.
I hope when I need you, you're not over there.
Well, again, when people call, we don't know what we have until we get there. And when people call, we have to respond as if it's an emergency until we get there. So when you see the the fire department medical first responder part of now what the fire personnel do. So they're trained in CPR, how to give oxygen and stuff in order to assist until an ambulance can arrive on the scene. You know, they have certain trucks that that are deemed to responding for that. So, yeah.
I want to say thank you for your service.
Thank
It's
you.
greatly appreciated.
Thank you.
My question to you is, what are the requirements and how would an individual go about applying to become an EMT tech?
Okay. To become an emergency medical technician, you have to take classes, and those classes provide one with learning how to take blood pressures, knowing the body, learning the heart, just different parts of the body. Then we have to do hands-on on how to apply that oxygen and the things that we were taught in class. And then after that, we have to go and take a state licensure. And we're licensed with the state of Michigan. So, and we have to fulfill our requirements. We have to replace our previous licensure every 3 years. So during that makes sure we keep up our skills, and we have to, it's called continuing education. So we have to make sure we do certain things in order to keep up those skills to get our licensure back.
Are the individuals able to take those courses at the community college?
Yes, there are some community and university, and there are a few services that you can actually take. I want to say like Baker College to go to take classes similar to that. You're welcome. Thank you. Thank you. Some of the programs, if you attend a university, is anywhere from 2 to 4 years. Some, like I said, Baker College. Eight months to a year and a half, I'll say. And again, you have to get your licensure by the state of Michigan in order for that.
And we have one over on this side.
Hi, I'm a parent of Ludington also.
Okay.
And, I don't know what year you were, but I ever.
83, I think.
Or something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
Okay. My question is, since you're dealing with mental health, like the lady asked a question about residents in her community having the EMS come frequently. In our neighborhood, allow their homes to just run down and put the grill out on the front, you know, and how.
For you, but
what they can and can't do. Some people grew up with their grills on the front porch. So, I mean, if you, it's change, seeing what's allowed in the neighborhood, and some people just don't care. You know what I'm saying? It's just not.
But is there a city ordinance for not allowing that?
Yes.
Lifetime, because if I had a student who went to Ludington, okay, well, you probably know my child. You know, so you got Pinterest. You can get ideas on how to beautify everything. You know, so that's my question: is that how do you address that? I mean, how do you address it? I mean, it should maybe address it should be how it's enforced. You know, as I was driving down.
So you basically ask the laws that we have in place now.
Yeah, why aren't they enforced?
Yeah, so it's a resource issue, to be honest with you. Some are enforced when we have the opportunity and the resources available, and there are some that completely go unaddressed for sometimes years. It's a deficiency. We work to improve our the way the city operates. When we talk about hiring new employees, we're looking at training, additional training. We're looking at trying to bring more people into the city so we have a higher tax base. Have an experience myself of a family enjoying that. Instructs the daughter to throw the dirty diaper in the trash right outside on the curb while I'm out there looking directly at me. So when I looked and I said, "Ma'am," that's all, you know. I told you don't put that up. So now she's telling her daughter, "Wow." But this is a child that's growing up in that situation, and the question is, if she's some of that stuff is going to be passed down. She is there that should continue some of those habits. So it's we have to figure out how do we, as a community, once again, as a community, SDM2, we just talk to our neighbor, actually go out and communicate and touch. Sometimes those conversations may be scary, we may not think that they're going to receive them, but we have to give it a try. We have to try. But that's not to say that we don't have responsibility as government. So that's why we are here taking these complaints when we hear them and doing our best to address them. Any other questions for you? Well, man, we want to thank you so much for joining us today. This is a very informative interview. Now we have one of your vehicles out there.
We do.
But it's raining.
It is raining.
Hopefully it'll stop raining, but those of you who have umbrellas will have an opportunity to do what?
They can stand next to the truck, take a picture with the truck, look in the truck. It's available if you guys want to come out and at least take a picture with the truck.
Some folks really have been blessed and never have a interaction with the vehicle. So this is a chance to actually look into it. So thank you again.
Thank you for
we really
having me.
appreciate you.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. A few more minutes. Come on. So we're going to do a lot of that. I think we talked about that at our District 1 monthly meeting. We're going to introduce a lot of our new folks at the next District 1 monthly meeting. Did we talk about that at all? What's going to be on the agenda? We're going to talk about that before we leave. Man, thanks again.
Good afternoon, everyone. Councilman Tate and I go way back. We are at a time in the city of Detroit, contrary to what you might have heard.
There we go. There, better. Contrary to what you heard, I think in my 27 years with city government, I think these are the most, we're seeing the most continuity between entities and organizations. Police working with council, working with fire, working with EMS. But these are some of the best days that I've seen. And so I thank you for that, because your transition from police to city council helped build those relationships. So thank you. For consideration, I think it's very fortuitous that it's taking place in one of our local businesses as well. And that's the subject of facial recognition.
Just a little bit more.
That's the subject of facial recognition. Right, it has been all over the media, and I want to share with you how it affects us here in the 8th Precinct. Right, I believe, and I'm assuming here, that your intent for that purchase was to ensure that your home is safe. That we would be able to use that imagery to help apprehend that offender. There's a lot of misinformation about how the technology is being used. but I'm going to share with you how we in law enforcement hope to use being in this place is very fortuitous. I have not of that individual from those multiple break-ins. But as it stands now, I can't take those images and introduce them into facial recognition software to identify a subject. So I'm exhausting hundreds of surveillance hours by trying to in an attempt to apprehend the person that's responsible for this. If I were able to introduce those pictures that I'm trying to deploy across the entire precinct and focus on those individuals that might have been identified through that facial recognition. People are not going to get arrested just based on facial recognition technology. It is an investigative tool for the police department and for law enforcement. It is nothing more than that. It is no different than hundreds of years ago when people used to measure the size of your hands, not realizing that fingerprint technology was coming down the road. It's no different. Blood typing was used many years ago, not knowing the DNA technology. Helps in the city of Detroit have some of the highest insurance rates in the country. And it is because we are not able to secure their businesses and find the people that are responsible for breaking into them. Fewer break-ins means fewer claims. Fewer claims means lower interest rates. Lower interest rates mean that we can bring more business into the city of Detroit. We are experiencing a growth unlike anything I have seen in my entire lifetime. When I grew up in the city, I went to Grayling Elementary School, Nolan Middle School, Cass Technical High School, Wayne State University. Right? Born, bred, raised, my family still lives just down the street from me. Okay? This is something that we need to make your home safe and the businesses safe. It is not going to be used to just arbitrarily to identify who some of these potential bad and new businesses. So I just want to take a moment and share that with you.
No, we thank you for that. For me, it's always important to get the tone and tenor of the people I represent. It's not just what I think. And we've had, in certain situations, split rooms. But the one thing that people have said, I think across the board on both sides, proud of the challenge from the legislative side is that there was no policy that was developed. There was no policy that was approved, rather, by the Board of Police Commissioners. So that was an issue. So whenever the procedures are out of whack, it gets people apprehensive about how are you really going to be using this if you went against the rules that are already in place. So that caused a lot of the conversation. Then you had, to some people, some misinformation that was out there. So then folks who had issues with it and angst. So now we're hearing this, so this is good to have that conversation and hear from the to the people's civil liberties that are going to be applied to that. But it still has to go through the Board of Police Commissioners, the policy, before it's approved. So do you have any I don't know until indefinitely or whenever. Do you have any idea now when it's going to be before, so we can at least as a community know what exactly
there's been significant progress in the policy writing, and there is, I believe, at least start to have the conversation. Right now, because there was such an outpouring of concern about how people's individual civil liberties were going to be violated, that technology, use of that technology, and the current policy, the state that it is right now, is limited to violent crime, right? Burglary of a residence and a home lastly moving through the process for violent crime, there's another level to this, right? And that is protection of our homes and our businesses. And we need to have that conversation as well, because businesses are being affected. Not less than 7 right here along this Grand River 7-mile, 6-mile corridor are affected. Been a victim of a burglary, right? That technology, the reason for the premise behind your purpose, it's going to be difficult for us and law enforcement to use that to bring these individuals to justice. So as we're moving forward along with violent crime, we also need to have a conversation about property crime. This evidence, this technology, people aren't going to get arrested just because there's a picture there and somebody's name came forth through a computer-generated report, right? We, in law enforcement, are still obligated to ensure that the person that we arrest is the individual responsible for the crime. A picture match is not enough for that to take place. But as we see everyone coming back into Detroit to reinvest, and the size of our communities growing and the property values rising, right? We have to have a conversation about protecting those homes and making sure that businesses can operate safely in the community as well. So the violent crime side of it is moving along. We need to have a conversation about the property crime. I will say to you this. I spent 5 years of my career working homicide. Right? I spent all of my life living in the city of Detroit. Many people, most people in fact, that leave the city are not leaving because someone got shot. The majority of those shooting incidents are involving people who are engaged in risky behavior that puts them at risk for becoming shot or shooting another. Right? The biggest reason, major contributor for flight from the city of Detroit, something we don't want to see again, was people not being able to leave their homes and coming back from work and knowing that everything was intact, not being able to get up in the morning, go out to their car and jump in it to drive to work, going out there and seeing it sitting up on bricks, or not being there at all. That's why we lose citizens. So we have to have a conversation about property crimes and how we can investigate them.
So how do we have that conversation from a structural standpoint? Because we can talk about it in this room, and this is a good opportunity, just like me and you will get use this as a sounding board. But how does that conversation be taken through the channels of the Board of Police Commissioners, who again, they are the ones that have to approve the policy, but it has to be provided to them first. What's the process? Is someone working on that policy right now within the police department to provide to? Because otherwise, we're just talking.
No, absolutely. Every journey starts with its first steps, right? The first steps of this, we're getting the violent crime. The next step is mobilizing the people who are most likely to be affected, and that's you in the room, to speak to us in law enforcement. Right? We want this. Speaking to Board of Police Commissioners, we want this. Speaking to council, we want this. We, having spent probably 17 years of my career in investigation, know the value of this technology. It's important for us. First step is, right, educate, because we did a poor job, right? So this is educating, right, both ourselves and the community, what we need to protect us. Okay? So this is the first step. that is why I felt it important to come here, and I felt comfortable because we have a great relationship. We have a great partnership. His wife is my fiancee's sorority sister.
We crossed together.
We go both professional and personal relationships. But these are the first steps. So I hope that each of you takes this back to your neighbors, those that couldn't be here because they were at work, right? Those that couldn't be here, share that with them so that we can mobilize community, partner with law enforcement, or police commissioners to get this next level in place.
So we're going to make sure, for those of you who don't know, we have, for new folks who are here, we have what's called a District 1 monthly meeting. And we have presentations every fourth Saturday of the month. So it's a little bit different than what we have here with satellite hours, whereas me and potentially a one person sitting and just answering and answering questions and providing information. The presentations that we have multiple presentations during the Saturday D1 monthly meeting, and we have our next D1 monthly. We've been doing that for 5 years as well, and we have our next D1 monthly meeting coming up soon, and we're going to have this gentleman and some other folks, and that was my transition, but Reggie's going to give you some information on who we're going to have at our next District 1 monthly meeting and when that meeting and where that meeting is going to be.
Thank you, Councilman. Reginald Alexander, Community Coordinator for the Office of Councilman James Tate. Our next District 1 monthly meeting is going to be on Saturday, September 28th. It's the last Saturday of the month at 10 a.m. It's going to be at the Delta Sigma Theta Detroit Alumni House. And it's at 24760 West 7 Mile, right on the corner. It used to be a Ford dealership. I'm sure everybody knows where that is. 10 a.m. in the morning. As the councilman said, our plan is to have may not be able to make it. We're not certain. We're going to try to find out if they will be able to make it, but there will be somebody there to speak on behalf of the 8th Precinct. We're also going to have everybody familiar with the old Arnold home over on 7 Mile in Greenview? Okay, well, as we know, that was demolished in 2013, and it's been sitting there for a while, and nothing's been happening. So we're going to have someone there from the company that is doing the planning. They're in the planning stages of what's going to be going at that site. So they're going to have photos, pictures of the plans, and they want to get feedback from the community about what they would like to see there. So that's going to be a very informative thing for you guys to be there. I'm sure everybody is familiar with the Grand River Streetscape development that's going on, and you're driving around it right now as we speak. So we're going to have updates and a little Q&A from the department that's handling that transformation to be able to give you information and updates. Also, we got about, I think, what was the number, Aisha, bus shelters that were coming? We don't have a final number yet, but we're going to have some new bus shelters coming to District 1, actually all over the city, but we're going to get you the number of those that are coming to District 1. We're going to get you information on that. Some of the bus shelters that are currently in existence are also going to be updated. So we're going to have that information for you. We're also expecting State Senator Betty Jean Alexander to be present as well, to be able to give you updates on what she's doing and what her plans are for representatives that she represents in Senate District 5. We're also going to have the new District 1 manager, who you just met today briefly, who's going to be there to talk about what she's planning to do. In addition to that, we're going to have our regular segments. That's our youth segment and our business segment. We always do a business segment and a youth segment every month. Bring you information about businesses in the district as well as youths that are doing something exceptional, be it artistic, academic, or athletic. We'd like to keep you informed of that kind of information and let you know what's going on. So that's our District 1 monthly meeting, Saturday, 28th of September, 24760 West 7 Mile. I hope to see you guys there at 10 a.m. Thank you. So the reason why we always want to make sure that you know this information is because we can be in a room by ourselves, and that information can be very valuable, but we're the only ones who have it. We need you to spread that information to the community. We always stream and record all of our meetings, so if you can't make it, we still give you an opportunity to be provided. District 1. There's new representation. There's also some new streetscape and infrastructural improvements. There's also a lot that is now a lot, but was a historic building. So there's a lot of activity. So I want to end by saying, and I said this before, many times we focus on what we don't have. We talk about we're not there. Don't necessarily appreciate, and we get upset when someone from outside of this area comes in and sees the opportunity. What we actually have and the movement that we're in the progress in taking. One monthly meeting, which is going to be at the Jefferson Sigma Theta House. This is the fourth Saturday. And so, Commander, thank you again for being here. And John, anything you want to say before you get out of here?
Doing okay? Yes. Could we give Councilman Tate a round of applause and his staff for putting this on? We would appreciate having this kind. Councilman's here in the flesh, and we appreciate that. Also working with the mayor's office, the blight coordinators. I know we have a new one. Said we really have to appreciate investing $4.5 million just across the street. There'll be new restaurants and housing opportunities and retail. The city is spending $20 million. Going into 2020. Of course, we just had our annual Sidewalk Festival, the Big Bear Show in June. A lot of this is Miss Sophie Ray, my new boss. Can you say hello, Sophie? I am madly in love with this child. I don't know if you follow me on Facebook, but if you do, you'll get it real quick. But she's a special one. And thanks to she grows up in a safe and clean and wonderful city environment. All right, folks, I can talk forever, so I'm going to stop.
Design in the box.
Design in the box. Yes, tomorrow, 3 o'clock, right here next door in the Lighthouse Volunteer Shop. Thanks to just about everybody you could imagine, including the mayor's office, council, Rock Financial, and others. Design in the Box will unveil its opening here at the Village tomorrow at 3 o'clock. We'd love for you guys to come back and join us. I'm not sure exactly what it is. I'm trying to figure it out, but my understanding we're counting on the powers to be to bring something cool to Grand River National. All right, folks, remember, say nice things about the city of Detroit. God bless you.
John George, y'all. John George. Alicia and Sophie. So, with that said, I want to thank you all for joining us today. We'll do it again, Lord, in 2 weeks. And hope to see you at the 4th Saturday D1 monthly meeting. Have a good day.